In this edition of Ear to Ear, leading us off this week is a guest that has been with us in the past. She's talked to us about military family support, cancer support, and also sleeping habits and like clutter collecting as well. Like I said, my Facebook and social media, I'm still working on that. Haven't got it down yet. Charli Prather's in the studio with me. How are you doing today, Charli?
Great.
We have something a little different this time, and it's perfect timing for it because I know a lot of people are going to be doing shopping and all the stressful holiday stuff. You know, it brings cheer. It can be stressful. So I guess just starting out with some of the ways to reduce holiday stress. First thing I guess we can talk about is travel. Mm-hmm. Now, whether you're driving, flying, because I know you can be flying with a group of children, and I know that's always stressful. I just left the airports, I know, and coming back from a vacation, and airports are too crowded. You have all these people checking in bags. You're worrying if you can get to your gate on time. This is just from self-experience, I know. So wherever you have to travel, like a plane, train, or automobile, what are some solutions to deal with that stress?
Well, one of the things is to try to take as early a flight out in the morning as you possibly can. You're less likely to get delayed, and you're much less likely to get stuck somewhere and then not able to get to your destination or able to get home from work on time. And some of the things people don't think about if they're traveling out of town is something very important is to take your prescriptions with you in case you do.
Oh, okay.
And make sure you have your prescription numbers on hand as well. If you get separated from your prescriptions, then you'll at least have your numbers on hand if you get stuck somewhere. And also important to have your insurance card, copies of them, and all the different suitcases and the nursing hotline that's associated with your insurance so that you can get help if you need to.
Now, I know I mentioned going by, if you're in the airport, I know airports can be overwhelming sometimes. But what if you're taking a nice long 10-hour trip to grandma's house? I guess just dealing with that stress of being on the road and not knowing how many people are going to be in the car with you, the age ranges of people in the car with you. What are some just ways to kind of combat that situation and be quite stressful as well?
Definitely. You can, one of the really important things to do is to stay hydrated when you're driving. A lot of people forget to stay hydrated because they don't want to stop a lot along the way because staying hydrated means other things happening in your body. So you want to definitely stay hydrated. Pull off the road every hour, get out, stretch, pack healthy food, pack nuts, granola bars, things like that so that you're not jumping into the quick trip for a hot dog and a donut.
Now, like I said, that's a very difficult thing. I'm one of those people who I like to drive as far as I can on the tank of gas without stopping. I don't like stopping until I get to the next gas station. If my tank can last me 4 hours into the trip, I will milk that whole 4 hours, and everybody has to suffer with me. So people now that you're telling me this, people that know me and if I go on vacations with, are probably happy you're saying these things because I always get the complaints like, "Can we stop an hour?" No.
Yeah,
but
you need to stop every hour. It's a lot better for your back and your skeletal system too, and it wakes you up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just I just think, that takes time out. I just want to get there. Now, once you get to where you're going, the visits, because it can be overwhelming because not only are you the person that you are going, if you're going to someone's house, you have them you want to visit with the host, but also you have other family members in, and it's such a compact time, with people you haven't seen in a while or whatever. Mm-hmm. Just how can you make those visits, or how can you get the most time out of those visits? Like, who do you spend time? How do you figure out who you want to spend time with, and things like that?
Well, certainly, if your family gets up at 4 o'clock to start the meal and you're visiting or they're visiting you, you don't have to get up with them. That's really important to know that you don't have to stay exactly on schedule. I've heard of families who have set times that people should arrive in order to put their dish in the oven because if you're just a little bit off or a little bit late with the meal, then Grandma or Uncle Joe gets really, really upset. So really, really important, to stay on your own schedule and advocate for yourself in that way, especially if you're not feeling well. One of the things that I talk a lot about when I do these programs during this time of the year, if people, if you've had a major illness, you've kind of got an easy out. So good idea to kind of use that. Well, I had a tough year. I broke my hip. Really important to also let people know up front what you can do and what you can't do. If you can only make one thing, then make that one thing and tell everyone, guess what? This year it's a potluck.
So this is one of these things. It's good to have excuses.
Absolutely.
This is one time
use them. It's the one time you can really do it and not feel guilty, because it is very, very stressful. It's important to delete any visits that are going to cause you too much stress. One of the ways that you can do that, if you limit those visits that aren't going to be the most positive experiences, sort of stacking the deck. You want to put your most favorite place to be that day. If you have 3 or 4 stops to make your most favorite place the very last stop that you make, because that way you put the cherry on the cake of your day. You end the day on a positive note.
Just like the meal, you save dessert the best for last.
You got it.
And just going in, like I said, with visiting, now there's some different family dynamics that come up during this holiday as well. For example, your parents and your husband's parents are divorced. So that's extra. It's like basically, like you said, you have about 4 trips. There's 4 households you have to split time between. You have your parents, your house, or maybe a friend or something. You can have 4 to 6 houses you have to visit. Or like, what can you do just to kind of condense that a little bit too? Because I know it can be stressful. You don't want to cheat anyone out of time, of course. You want to be somewhere for 30 minutes to make them feel less significant than the other person, I guess.
Well, one of the things that you can do is suggest that it can either be you or it can be the person that you're closest to on that track of people that you have to go visit. So let's say it's your mom. You know that you can communicate most easily maybe with your mom or your father-in-law. And you can say, I'm wondering if this year, since we have so many places, everyone has so many places to go, if maybe you wouldn't want to have a Christmas breakfast this year, so that you have different meals at different times of the day. You can also pick up what you can do with people. You make, again, that most pleasant visit of the day, make that dessert or turkey sandwich, the leftover visit. So you don't have to eat 3 or 4 complete meals, because that can really add a lot of stress knowing that you have to hit 4 complete meals within a 2 or 3 hour period.
Now, another question I have kind of stemming from this one is from a person, because I have a friend that's in the situation. They're like stressing out about Thanksgiving. They recently have recently just got married, got a house, but their parents are like going basically on a divorce path, but they're both coming over, but the tension. How do you control stuff like that during? I know this is a question I didn't prepare for, but how do you control stuff like that for the holiday? It just kind of popped in my head when I thought about that question.
I would certainly approach both parties individually ahead of time.
Yeah.
In a situation like this, you want to be proactive. You want to let them know, hey, I've got a little concern. I know you and Mom are both going to be at the table, and it's sort of a stressful time. And I just wanted to talk to you about that a little bit and see if you can feel them out, see what the hostility level is. It may be that you're more concerned about it than they are.
Yeah, because I know they've been talking about, I'm so stressed out. I'm like, this holiday, you're supposed to be in a cheerful mood because it's the holidays, but I can see how that dynamic can kind of throw things off.
And make sure they each know, if you know there's going to be someone at a dinner, make sure that the people who may have a problem with that person, that they know. There's nothing worse than being blindsided by walking into a family event and, I didn't know she was going to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can see how that could be a problem. Now, with all the visits and all the different family dynamics and people, we take care of that. Now it comes to the most important part of the dinner, the food.
Yes.
And now, if you're the host, and you're sitting there like, oh man, I have to cook a whole dinner for 20 people or 10 to 20 people. I guess whatever, you just get too overwhelmed to cook a whole dinner. What do you do then?
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. It may not even be a traditional dinner. If you know you have a lot of guests who have to make a lot of different events that day, maybe you don't make a traditional dinner. Maybe you make a great big lasagna. Just because it's the holiday doesn't mean there has to be a turkey or a ham on the table. And it may be that the guests that are coming to your house may be really excited that they don't have to have turkey 3 times that day. Guess what? I get to have this giant lasagna instead. That's easy. It's in one pot. Or again, making it a potluck, asking everyone to bring. And here's the big thing that so many people think it's so sacrilege to do, and that is order it in.
Oh, catering.
Yeah, go pick it up at Schnucks. Let them do all the work. Go pick it up. Or maybe you just do your famous pies and cakes, and everything else you order in.
See, I guess that suggestion is probably good for people who fit into this next category that I fit into. They don't know how to cook, so they're trying to learn, is it just, can you just do that and just scrap trying to learn recipes and try to test your luck and see what happens, which doesn't turn out so well sometimes.
Right. Well, I'm an accomplished cook, but this year I am picking up my dinner at 9:00 on Thursday morning because on Friday morning I have to fly out of state to attend my stepson's wedding. So I took it all off of myself and said, we're just going to order one small dinner and split it, and that way we don't have to worry about leftovers, and I don't feel bad about that at all.
Okay. For people who, I know it's getting late, but I guess people who may be looking at that option, what are some of the places, I guess, where are you getting your catering from, I guess, or where are you ordering dinner from that day?
I'm picking my dinner up at Whole Foods because I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
So I don't need a turkey.
Oh, see, like I said, Whole Foods just got a plug right now because I know Boston Market does catering too.
They do, and it's great.
So just for people who, those are some options. I know there's plenty of more. I can't plug anyone else because I don't know. So they have to look that stuff up. But I'm sure there's plenty of that on the internet as well. But Whole Foods and Boston Market that I definitely know of.
Many times it's cheaper to actually have them do it.
Yeah.
If you break down the cost of your time and all of the stress involved, and groceries are very, very expensive, you may take a look and compare and realize that, oh my gosh, if I give them $49, I'm done.
Oh yeah,
and it's worth it.
It's worth because you save time. You can spend more time with your family members, and then instead of worrying about what you're going to cook.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time I do it every year for my Christmas party, we just order and just go from there.
Yeah, no stress.
Now, the big thing is everybody always makes turkey. But as you just mentioned, you're a vegetarian, so turkey is not going to be in your plate.
Exactly.
So what do people do that are just overwhelmed with, okay, we'll go with meat items. If you go to a house, there's only everything else has meat in it. Like they may have meat in the stuffing, meat in something else. Right. So what if you have limited options at someone's house you go to if you're a vegetarian?
Oh, you don't. You really don't. And the thing about it, if you do have particular things in your diet that you can't have or you prefer not to have, it's really important. You don't want to be that guy or that girl that says, what's in this? I'm not sure if I can eat that. It's got dairy. It's got gluten. You don't want to be that person. You can pretty much take a look at the landscape of the table and realize that regardless of what type of diet you're consuming at that time in your life, because maybe you've got a gluten issue or maybe you're diabetic, there's always something that you can eat. There's always something. And if I happen to stick my fork in the stuffing and I get a little bite of turkey, I'm probably not going to die.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be okay.
Okay. So it's something like you say, you don't want to be that guy.
No,
you don't want to be the difficult person.
You don't want to be difficult.
That everybody has to make separate dishes just for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or bring your own. When I go to a barbecue, I take my mushroom and my bean burger that is so delicious, and I take a few extra, and many times people end up liking that more than the real burger.
See, I was going to ask you, do you do I guess the vegetarian options as the meat? Because what I can't remember what show it was, but they had the tofu turkey.
Right.
It didn't look too appetizing. I think you passed on that.
I would pass on that.
I can't remember what comedy it was, but they had the tofu turkey, and it was like the worst.
Not into
thing.
the tofu turkey.
Yeah,
no, I can find much better things to eat. That's another show.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Now, people, they tend to holidays to think, we have to eat 6 meals because we're going to 6 different places. Just how do you keep from overeating during a holiday meal without hurting someone's feelings?
Well, one thing that you can do is let people know that you have other places to go and everything looks so wonderful, but I'm going to take a small plate. I'm not even going to get a dinner plate. Could you give me one of those salad plates? And I'm going to take a bite of everything you have and stick your spoon in everything that looks good and then really, really yum it up. Let them know how fantastic it is, and you're just, you're so bummed out that you can't eat a whole plate full. You're so disappointed. And that way you don't hurt feelings.
Okay. I put on the commercial face. That's
Absolutely. And take a bite of everything. Try everything. Just use a smaller plate.
Okay. See, that's a good idea, too, because some people just take these large portions. They try to think, I get 2 plates at each house. And
then they're miserable at night.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And the other part, I know Thanksgiving is right, or, Thanksgiving is coming up, or, we just celebrated Thanksgiving. Now, if you go with Christmas coming up, people are worried about gifts because Black Friday, people are out there in stores buying everything they can, all the TVs they can for like $20. Now, but you may not be in a position for that. Like, what if you just say someone lost their job this year? How do they explain to people, like, I really can't afford the gift exchange this year. I can't do as much as I usually do in the past.
Be really honest. It's okay to opt out of gift giving. I've done that in the past when I've been underemployed or unemployed, or my husband lost his job a few years ago. And we were just very, very honest in letting people know that we were opting out, that we weren't accepting gifts this year, nor were we giving gifts that year. And but we still wanted everyone to come over and have a nice get-together. So the other thing you can do is go to, there's a great little link called missminimalist.com, and they've got these really great little certificates every year this time of year. It's called One Less Gift Certificate, and you can have that and give that to someone and say, this is your ticket this year. Don't buy me anything. I'm not in a position to buy anything, and so many times little tiny gifts are things that people really like. Like one of the best presents I ever got was movie tickets.
Okay.
I got this little book of movie tickets, so the next time that I went to the movies, I took someone with me.
Exactly.
It was a $15 gift. It was one of the neatest gifts I ever got, and I really rememred it because I'm still talking about it.
Exactly. It's something that you use, and some people get gifts that are extremely expensive, extremely expensive pieces of jewelry and things like that, and they may not wear them or wear them like twice a year.
Yes.
But like you might see a movie that'll stick in your mind for the rest of your life just off a $15 gift.
That's exactly right. Exchanging talents. I'm an accomplished cook, so many times I have people who I will give them a little certificate that I'll come over to their house and make dinner one evening, and I'll bring all the fixins with me. People really like that present a lot.
See, like I said, it's things that people don't really realize at the time. They're so worried about, just the tangible items that you can see or get from Best Buy, but those things come in handy during the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, just say you did lose your job, or like I said, people are dealing with divorce. And how do people deal with these personal questions that relatives may ask during these holiday get-togethers and kind of not, kill the mood, like have that awkward silence in the room? How do you get around those questions?
Why aren't you married? You're such a nice boy.
Yes, exactly, those questions.
Right. I laugh a lot of that stuff off if I'm faced with a question that's rather embarrassing. Why do you live there, or why do you live here, or why are you a vegetarian? Things like that. Why aren't when I was single, why aren't you married? I would usually try to turn around and make a joke out of it. One of the big issues that people do, they really walk through life waiting to be offended, especially in the holiday season. They just walk around waiting for someone to offend them so that they can storm off or have a black cloud over their head for the next day. And life's just too short. If your Aunt Josephine says something about your weight, it says more about her than it does about you. If you can let those things brush off and not ruin the day for you and turn it back around. My mother-in-law, before she died, God rest her soul, would make inappropriate remarks constantly to me, and I would say things like, "Oh, well, ouch, that kind of hurt. Are you having a bad day? And I would just completely lift her right back up. She would, oh, no, I didn't mean it. You know, she would immediately get out of her negative mood if I just turned a little spin on it.
Yeah, see, those are things I think people forget about that, because holidays, like I said, everybody associates holiday cheer. That's the thing you hear all year, but holidays are stressful.
They're very stressful. I see more family problems and more people coming in to see me in my office right around the holidays, just because of a lot of the things that we talked about today. I saw a woman last week who was really upset. She said her mother had canceled Christmas because she didn't want the stress of it. And I said, well, then, so why don't you have it and have it be a stress-free day, and tell her if she wants to come, and if she doesn't, that's okay too.
Yeah, I mean, if she wants to be Scrooge or the Grinch,
Right.
the mother who stole Christmas, let her be the mother who stole Christmas.
Exactly. She doesn't have to show up.
Exactly. So with that being said, we've talked about a lot of topics, and hopefully our people will get a lot of good information and be able to enjoy the holidays, not focus so much on, can I cook? Can I do? How much do I have to cook? Or, how do I have to plan my visits? Hopefully, they got a lot of information this year that will help them get through the holiday season unscathed and with a very merry attitude. Now, if people want to ask more questions or want to talk to you about more holiday stuff and they're stressed out, need to come see you, where can they visit you at? Or where can they get information or call you or anything like that?
They can get a hold of me at 314-920-6542, and that's St. Louis. And I recently started seeing clients in Belleville, Illinois, over off of Frank Scott Parkway in Copper Bend, and I work over there 1 or 2 days a week for Sierra Counseling and Mediation.
So you are very convenient now. They're going to visit you on the Missouri side or the Illinois side.
I have my feet on Illinois soil again.
And there's a place to find you.
Definitely.
Thanks, Charlie, so much for your time today. And I know we're going to be talking to you soon, next week, about mindful eating. We'll be looking forward to that as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Amigos.